Making choices on your own in midlife is a very strange thing. They're not always dramatic and they're not always brave looking from the outside. And sometimes it's just booking the ticket, walking into the restaurant, and going to the theatre, and maybe taking the trip, making the decision to go, and sitting with yourself afterwards and thinking, well, I hope that was the right thing to do. And I think that's why doing things alone is such a powerful midlife experience, because it isn't really about the coffee or the meal or the movie. It's really about the moment you start to realize you don't need to keep waiting. For years, many of us had organized life around other people, our children, partners, parents, friends, family responsibilities. And there's a lot of love in that. Of course, there is. But there can also be a quiet habit of putting yourself last. You wait until everyone else is ready. You wait until someone else wants to go. You wait until someone says, yeah, let's do that. And then midlife arrives and suddenly something begins to shift. You begin to ask different questions, not just who needs me, but what do I still want? Not just what is sensible, but what would make me feel alive? Not just who's coming with me, but could I go anyway? And that's the question can feel small, but it isn't. Because the first time you do something alone, it can feel really awkward. You walk into a place and suddenly become aware of your own arms. You look at your phone like you're CEO of an urgent international company. You wonder if people are looking at you, which they probably aren't. And even if they are, well, so what? That's one of the quiet gifts of getting older. You start to realize that most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to be analyzing yours. And that after awkwardness passes, something else also appears: peace, space, maybe some confidence. You realize you can enjoy your own company and you can make a decision and you can change your mind. And you can sit with a coffee and watch the world go by. You can go somewhere beautiful and not have to explain why you want to stay longer. You can leave when you're ready. You can have the experience. And that changes something, because doing things alone teaches you that you are not as stuck as you thought. It teaches you that waiting is really optional, and being alone is not the same as being lonely. And I think that matters, especially in midlife, because midlife brings uncertainties. Relationships change, kids grow up, work changes, bodies change, and your dreams change. Sometimes the future doesn't look the way you thought it would. And suddenly you're making choices without the safety net you expected to have. No clear map, no perfect plan, no one standing beside you saying, this is definitely right. Just you. And that can feel frightening. But it can also be the beginning of something honest. Because when there is no safety net, you have to align with yourself. You have to ask, does this still fit me? Am I doing this because I want to or because I'm used to it? Am I waiting for company or am I waiting for permission? And maybe the most freeing answer is I can go anywhere, not recklessly, not selfishly, and not pretending you don't care about anyone else, but very honestly, because your life is still happening, your curiosity is still there, and your courage. And the next chapter is still available. And maybe it doesn't need to begin with a huge life change. Maybe it begins with one small brave act, like a walk, a coffee, a meal, a movie, some classes, a trip somewhere, a decision, something you've been putting off because no one else was available to come with you. This week's 2% Braver is really simple. Do one thing you've been waiting to do for someone with someone else. Start really small. Let it feel awkward and new. Let it feel a bit uncomfortable. But don't let the waiting become the reason you miss your own life. Because alone is not the same as lonely. And sometimes alone is where you finally meet yourself again. 2% Braver.